Hi, this is Christopher Wright, your financial counselor specialist, and today we're going to talk about how the universe was created. At least how the credit bureaus originated. I guess we'll start off first with a timeline of how the big three, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, kind of evolved to the point where they are today, and then I give you more examples of what happened to make them come together like they are today. Equifax is the oldest. It was founded in 1899 as a retail credit company, and in 1975 changed its name to improve its image to Equifax. TransUnion was founded in 1968 as the Union Tank Car, and in 1969 enters the credit business. In 2002, TransUnion buys TrueLink and enters the consumer report and credit score business, now known as True Credit. Experian was founded in 1901 as the Cleveland Cap Screw Company, which eventually became Thompson Products. A merger of Thompson with Ramo Woodridge Corporation, named after Simon Ramo and Dean Woodridge, was named Thompson Ramo Woodridge Incorporated. Then in 65, they shortened the name to TRW Incorporated. In 1996, TRW spins off the credit part of its business, TRW Information Services, and Experian buys them. In 2002, Experian buys ConsumerInfo.com and enters the consumer report and credit score business. And as I said, that's kind of an overview of how they evolved. So I guess you need a little more in-depth information about it. It reminds me of J. Paul Getty. If you owe the bank $100, that's your problem. If you owe the bank $100 million, that's the bank's problem. Just some food for thought. On April 5th, 2002, the Payment Card Center of the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia held a workshop that explored the uses and evolution of credit reporting companies. Leading the workshop was a group of executives from TransUnion, Tony Capaldi, Group Vice President for the Eastern Region. Mr. Capaldi began the workshop by describing the credit reporting industry during the 50s and 60s. For illustrative purposes, he focused on the history of the agencies in the tri-state area, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey, and indicated that similar events were unfolding nationally. Now, the first bureaus, as they were called then, in the tri-state area were small and community-based. They often tracked the behaviors of consumers in specific county and or towns, primarily focused on servicing one kind of creditor, bank, finance company, or retailer. Now, these early credit reporting companies represented cooperative efforts among creditors in a specific region and were operated solely for the benefit of its members. They typically limited their credit-related reporting to negative, derogatory information, delinquencies, or defaults. For example, a group of retailers in a small area might have agreed to form a cooperative that kept track of customers who were considered delinquent by any member of the group. The individual merchants would then use this information in managing their own credit relationships with prospective and current customers. So in addition to capturing the name, address, some loan information, these early agencies would scour local newspapers for notices of arrests, promotions, marriages, and deaths. Then these would be clipped and attached to the consumer's paper report. Now, requests or inquiries from creditors to see a particular customer's information will also be noted in the report. These inquiries would indicate that a consumer was requesting credit. In those early days, throughout the 1960s, the credit reporting business was industry specific in its focus. As such, bank, retailer, or finance company sponsored bureaus did not share loan or inquiry information with each other. This kept banks from knowing about loans or inquiries made by finance companies or retailers and vice versa. The situation limited any creditor's ability to understand a potential customer's entire debt situation. The political, technological, and market pressures that exerted themselves on the credit reporting industry during the 70s played an important role in shaping the modern-day credit reporting company. The decade began with the passage of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA, which protected consumers by setting standards for accuracy of and access to their credit information. Subsequent to the FCRA's passage, the industry stopped reporting things like marriages, promotions, arrests, and focused its efforts on reporting verifiable credit-related information. This included both positive information, such as a consumer's ability to consistently pay his or her bills on time, as well as negative information, such as defaults and delinquencies. Also, during this decade, the industry harnessed the power of computers and databases to process, organize, and report on credit data. Those agencies that adopted computer technology realized operating efficiencies that allowed them to move data faster and attract more business. This, along with the costs associated with migrating to computer-based systems, compelled smaller operations that were not yet automated to sell their files and exit the industry. As a result, this consolidation, and in order to meet the demands of an exploding unsecured lending market, credit reporting companies started including lending activity from banks, finance companies, and retailers from wider geographic areas. By the end of the 70s, a handful of companies, also called credit reporting agencies, emerged as leaders. In the tri-state area, TransUnion and TRW, now Experian, became the dominant players by acquiring or aligning themselves with many of the smaller agencies. Similar events played out in other regions across the U.S., contributing to the market penetrations that the top three major bureaus still have today. By the start of the 1980s, the content, storage, and processing of credit reports had changed dramatically. More accurate information, such as your name, addresses, social security numbers, was electronically stored and accompanied by loan inquiry and public record information, your bankruptcies, judgments, and liens. Histories that were once read over the phone to an inquiring business were now transmitted electronically.